Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is Sadat here. I wanted to make this video for a lot of the Muslim youth who are struggling with their daily prayers. Doing the 5 times Salah can be a real challenge, and it requires discipline and it requires commitment. One of the really great short gems that I got from a book that helped me, that helped to motivate me, helped encourage me to pray more and to take it more seriously, is from this book, which is called Even Angels Ask by Jeffrey Lang. Jeffrey Lang wrote 2-3 books in the mid-90s and late 90s. Another one that he wrote earlier on was called Struggling to Surrender. Jeffrey Lang is a professor of mathematics at the University of Kansas. He comes from a Catholic background. He went through a Buddhist phase and then eventually he converted to Sunni Islam. To any young Muslim in the West, any young Muslim in Canada and the US that is struggling with their faith, that has questions about their faith, I cannot recommend these 2 books highly enough. Coming from a mathematics, rationalist kind of background, Jeffrey Lang asked a lot of the same questions that you young people ask about Islam all the time as well. Why the hijab? Why does God want us to go hungry during Ramadan? Why do you have to do the 5 daily prayers? Isn't it enough to just remember God when you feel like it in your heart? Isn't it good enough to just be a good person that doesn't hurt your neighbors, doesn't hurt other people? These are the kinds of questions that Jeffrey Lang explores in his books, and he gives us proper Islamic orthodox answers to these questions. Now, one disclaimer I want to make is that as with any book that's been authored by other than the creator, there's always going to be mistakes and errors. So I'm not endorsing every single point. I don't even remember every single point and every single sentence in these books. I do remember, for example, that at one point Jeffrey Lang had kind of a lax attitude towards the hijab, but he was humble enough to revisit his views. And that was actually in light of a lot of complaint letters that he received from Muslim women in hijab that were urging him to take the hijab a bit more seriously and not to take that kind of a lax attitude towards it. But I look at the overall good, I look at the overall goodness in books before I recommend them to anybody. And so these 2 books are really 2 gems. I think they've been underestimated and underutilized in our community. So coming back to Salah, or the 5 daily prayers, here's a little gem from his book, Even Angels Ask, that stuck with me. It stuck with me all these years, and it's advice that I've shared, I've modified it, I've added my own thoughts and examples to it, and I've shared it with a lot of Muslim youth, and I'm hoping that it's benefited some of the youth. He says, the Salah may not be as emotionally demanding as one's first Shahada, i.e. for someone who's just become a Muslim, or as physically or materially demanding as the other 3 pillars of Islam, Zakah and fasting during Ramadan, the Hajj to Mecca. But the ritual prayer, more than any of the other rituals, tests constancy and perseverance. I have known many Muslims who fast every Ramadan, who pay Zakah every year, and who have made the Hajj, yet who are unable to remain constant in their prayers. Most of us are capable of great moments of virtue or religiosity and can rise to the occasion on rare occasions. However, too many of us are incapable of being even moderately virtuous or religious consistently. In terms of our spiritual and moral growth, we are too often like the person who suddenly decides he will get in shape one weekend by going out and running a marathon. But to really become physically fit, he needs to begin and follow a regular program of exercise. This simple passage from his book really struck me because I loved the example that he made between Salah and physical exercise or working out. So for example, if your doctor tells you that you've got high blood pressure or you've got high cholesterol and you need to jog half an hour every day, or let's make that a little bit easier, or you have to do a brisk walk half an hour, 45 minutes every single day on the treadmill. Now, the point of that prescription from the doctor is not necessarily your enjoyment. In other words, there will be times, for those of you who work out or who do some kind of exercise program, you'll know what I mean. There's times when you might do that half an hour jog on the treadmill and you're so full of energy. At the end of it, you're still so energetic that that half an hour just felt like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and you want to jog another half an hour on the treadmill because you're just on such a roll. But then there's other times, depending on what you ate, how much you slept, how you're feeling, where that same half an hour on the treadmill will feel like an hour, and it just drags on. But the point is not necessarily your enjoyment of the workout. The point is that if you stick to the doctor's program, if you do that half an hour, that 45 minutes every single day on the treadmill, when you enjoy it, when you don't enjoy it, when you're feeling energetic, when you're not feeling so energetic, you know and I know that at the end of 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, you will see the physical difference. You will see the positive results that you gained as a result of that exercise program. The Salah is the same way. One of the common excuses that I hear, not just from young Muslims, but even older Muslims, one of the common excuses I hear is, well, I'm not feeling it. I pray sometimes, but I'm not really feeling it. And so rather than me praying insincerely and my heart's not 100% in it, or my mind and my focus is not 100% in it, wouldn't God prefer that I just pray occasionally, but at least I do it sincerely? I do it with all of my heart? Now, superficially, that sounds reasonable, but when you think about the fact that the Salah, the 5 times daily Salah, is a command from our Creator, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you realize that all of these things are really just waswasa from the shaitan. In other words, they're just satanic whisperings trying to create excuses in your mind and in your heart to not pray. Coming back to the exercise analogy, the Salah is the same way. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not some saint. I'm not some angel. I'm not some scholar. I'm just your brother. I'm just a regular Muslim. So I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to be honest with all of you youth. I'm going to be honest with you. There are times when I pray and I really, really enjoy it. There's times where I finished my 3 rakat of Maghrib and it just flew by so fast. I want to do the 2 rakat sunnah after that, and I want to pray more nawafil after that. I just didn't soak enough of it. I didn't get enough worship. I want to pray more. But there are also other times when I pray that 3 rakat and I might not be in the same frame of mind. I might be really hungry. Maybe we've just finished a fast during Ramadan and I'm praying and my mind is getting a bit distracted by dinner. There's times when I'm outside in the cold. So there are times in winter where there's nowhere to pray and I might just have to pray outside. I might have to pray in a parking lot, in a shopping mall parking lot, somewhere outside. And I would be lying to you if I said that I enjoy that 3 rakat of Maghrib as much as when I'm in the comfort of my living room on a full tummy. But the point is not my enjoyment of it. Our enjoying the Salah is a bonus, it's a byproduct, but it's not some kind of necessary precondition to making the Salah valid. Just like the doctor's prescription for exercise, we have to take Allah's prescription for the 5 daily Salah. If you pray it regularly, when you enjoy it and when you don't enjoy it, when you're feeling energetic and when you're feeling very tired and sleepy, but if you stick to the program, just like that exercise program or that membership at the fitness gym for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, that's when you're going to see the difference. You're going to see the difference when you're consistent and constant in your prayers. Another excuse that I hear from some Muslims, and I've heard it from new Muslims as well, is, brother, I tried it. Yeah, I prayed for 2 months, 3 months. I pray a few months, then I sometimes kind of stop. Yeah, I prayed for a month or I prayed for 2 months. I prayed 5 times a day, but I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't seeing the benefits in my life. Now, if you said that to a fitness trainer in a gym, they would laugh at you. If you told somebody at the gym that, hey, I took up a gym membership for 2 weeks, I took up a gym membership for a month or 2 months, and I haven't seen the difference. I don't have bigger biceps. I'm not in amazing shape. They would laugh at you and they would say, look, come consistently to the gym for 8 months, 10 months, a year, 2 years, then come back and tell me that you haven't seen and felt the physical difference. It's the same thing with the Salah. If you tell me, yeah, you prayed 5 times a day for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, for 6 months, that almost doesn't even count. Pray consistently 5 prayers a day. Do that for a year at least, then come back and tell me that that made no difference in your life. That didn't make you feel more peaceful. That didn't reduce your anxiety. That didn't reduce your depression. That didn't help facilitate you having better relationships with your family, with your coworkers, with your friends. that didn't make you feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you can tell me that after praying consistently for a year, I will be extremely shocked and extremely surprised, because that I've never heard in my life. I'm just going to end it at that. It was just that analogy that Jeffrey Lang drew in his book between prayers and regular exercise. And as Imam Zaid Shakir says, it's a long marathon, it's not a sprint. So keep that in mind and stick to your prayers. Keep your prayers in order, and please make dua for me. Wassalamu alaikum.